A warm welcome to all of you and welcome to our special Women's Day show. I'm Tamanna Inamdar. India's stated position is that we want to increase the representation of women in the workforce by 50% by 2047. It is the right intention. 50% of the population should have the same representation in the workplace. In fact, we're now seeing women represented more and more across fields, in the armed forces, in the boardroom. There is pretty much no place where women are not getting the opportunity to show their talent and skill. But what about in politics? When it comes to decision makers, lawmakers, politicians basically, women still find themselves fighting to be heard. The Women's Reservation Bill that envisages 33% reservation for women in the Lok Sabha is hanging fire decades later. No party is interested in pushing it through. Meanwhile, here's the ground reality. Women make up just 15% of the Lok Sabha, only 13.8% of the Rajya Sabha. Worse, parties are not really backing them at the polls. In the last general election in 2019, there were only 9% women candidates. The BJP and the Congress fielded 13% women out of all the tickets they gave. The Biju Janata Dal gave tickets to 33%, while the TMC, notably, gave tickets to 41% women. Perhaps because that party is run by one of the few women politicians who are today at the forefront of the discourse, the political discourse. So why are women so poorly represented in our political sphere, especially at a time when the woman voter is making her voice heard? At the end of the day, the bottom line is not just about a reservation or a representation. It's about what difference that makes. When there are more women lawmakers, will it make a difference to how we view the laws in this country, women-centric and otherwise? And what are the hiccups that women really face? Today, women want to be a lot of things. They want to be doctors, they want to be engineers, they want to run companies. How many women are really running to join politics? To understand this, I'm joined now by some veteran politicians. Dr. Ami Yatnik, MP in the Rajya Sabha, with me today on the show from the Congress Party. Dr. Kanimuri NVN Somu is also with me today on the show. She is also an MP and spokesperson of the DMK. Dr. Sonal Mansingh, MP in the Rajya Sabha, is with me in the show, and of course someone who's been a veteran in public life. Shaina NC, BJP spokesperson, also with me on the show. Welcome to all of you. Thank you to all of you for speaking with us, and wish you a very happy Women's Day. Thank you. Today is not the typical sort of debate perhaps all of you find yourself on, where you're pitted against one another and representing your parties. I think today is an opportunity to talk about how women find themselves in the political sphere. Dr. Ami, let me begin with your experience. Through your many decades of political experience, has women's participation actually come down or has it improved? And I'm talking about not just the karyakarta, in positions where decisions are made.
I think I have been working with women's issues and also with women right from the grassroots level now, as a professional as well. But I find that yes, when it comes to political participation, political activity, political leadership, or taking any kind of a responsibility in the political arena or a political sphere within a party or without a party, to have that political bent, I think I'm finding women a little hesitant to take up those positions. So for that, you need to travel a distance, you need to have a certain kind of commitment you will have to give, and you have to do a lot of multitasking as well. But I find that women, despite achieving a lot in their individual lives as career women or as whether they're doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, but when it comes to political environment, I think a little hesitancy I'm seeing.
So but neither, I want to understand, is that hesitancy on the part of women, or every workplace has been tailored over the last many decades to be more friendly to both genders. At the end of the day, a political party in the sense is your workplace. It's your work environment. Is it because women are hesitant?
No,
or is it because they are not getting the right support or the right opportunity?
I think the women have moved forward. The women have taken progress in their stride. They're striving also. But I think society has not moved that fast. And the society is, in a way, I would say, the patriarchal word, I think, has become such a common word. But that is not leaving society. And so somewhere the environment which has to be absolutely an enabling environment for her so that she feels absolutely free to participate, to take head on whatever challenges that come her way. She's unable to, she hesitates. She does take it. And many women make it to the top. But then to accept these women in leadership positions and give them that due that yes, we would take you as an equal in taking decision making as a responsibility. I think there somewhere it will still take some time for these things to fructify. And women are trying the level best, and even parties or political parties and political spheres are now becoming open. They are seeing that there are women politicians who are doing great. They are bringing some experience to the table. They have a certain kind of feeling and emotional connect with the polity. And so I think they are doing, so far I'm seeing that yes, they're making good strides. And the parties are also, and the environment, of course, of the world is changing. We are in the third decade of the 21st century, and technology is also showing that yes,
but you know, I've put out the numbers. I've put out the numbers right in the beginning because data doesn't lie. And the participation of women in both the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha is abysmal at the very least. The number of women who get tickets is very poor as well. I want to come to Dr. Kanimoni on this. Is it because these candidates are not seen as those who will win elections? At the end of the day, the success story for a politician, and one of the key indicators, perhaps not the only one, is that you have to win an election. You have to be popular with the people so that you can represent the people. Why do you think women have not got that kind of representation?
It's not a matter of popularity, Tamanna. It's not that women are not popular among the constituency or among the constituency people. It is how they are able to rise among the men who are against them. Though we have still in Tamil Nadu, for example, though we have the social justice on the peak, still only at the level of the councillors' ward elections we have more than 33% reservations in the local bodies. But still in the local legislative assembly and in the parliament, we do not have enough representation, not only from our state, across the country. Still men, I could call it, they are afraid of women. They call women as weaker sex. It is not exactly that. Women are able to do multitasking, and they fear that if given a chance, they leap like a tiger and go beyond them. That is the hardcore truth which the men has to accept on this Women's Day, I suppose. See, even today on a Women's Day debate, only 4 women are sitting and talking about the pros and cons of why a woman is not able to achieve the highest power in the country. But why aren't 4 men sitting and talking for it?
Well, Shaina NC, I want you to come in. Is it women who are hesitating, like Dr. Ami said, or is it men who are not giving women the opportunity? And also there seems to be, I wouldn't say hesitation, but politics doesn't seem to be the preferred route.
Right.
Unless you come from a political family, then, you know, that's a different thing altogether.
I think, yeah, absolutely. Tamanna, I think it's both. To tell you very honestly, politics is a very, very hard space for a woman, especially if you look at the kind of scenario where men start their politics post 7 p.m. and women end their day at 7 p.m. That is just one of the many hardships. Having said that, there is stereotypical notions कि इनका काम यहाँ तक है. She should excel up to a point. The sad part is the decisions are being taken by men. I completely agree with what Kanimoyi ji said just now, because genuinely we need an opportunity. You are given the opportunity and the woman excels and then she takes over a man's space. So is that one of the reasons we're held back? I think yes. Men per se are insecure of a competent, conscientious, triple tasking woman who can manage everything from a profession to a house to a political career to what have you. Having said that, as a society, unfortunately, politics is still so male dominated. You take a parliamentary board, you take a body that decides on who is to fight elections, who is to be given organizational posts, all of that is so male centric. At one hand, we have a prime minister that respects women and makes sure that, you do away with a triple talaq. That gives women respect. My plea to every political party, not just my own, is that irrespective of 33% reservation, and until it is passed, every political party must give competent women a chance. Because only when we showcase our talent can we actually leap forward to say that there is parity, there is equality. Otherwise, every International Women's Day, it'll be women panel discussing women's issue, but the decision makers should also partake, should also participate and be heard and give a guarantee and
absolutely.
A kind of
to be honest, China, your party is in a position to do that, because when you are politically strong, you can take quote-unquote risks of giving more tickets to women without wondering whether you will lose elections. I'm focusing on the political space today because at the end of the day, lawmakers get to decide the direction in which the country heads. Political parties get to decide in which direction the country heads. And should women not have a greater chance there? Dr. Ami Yagnik, you began by talking about women also hesitating. What do you think parties should do to include women in positions where they really can make a difference?
I think first of all, I come from a party where we had Sonia ji as a women president for a very long time. She encouraged a lot of women participation, and you can see that a lot of, at very different levels, there are a lot of women. That is one point. But parties should definitely have a very, very strong inclination to see that they do hand holding even after seeing that the women come to the party. But for that, you have to have a conducive environment. Now, the environment all over the place, all over the society, is where women think that, well, if I go, what would happen? Will I be accepted or not? Will I face something or not? Will I be able to see through the whole challenge, and will I be able to make it somewhere? And these are the doubts with which she comes. And that is why when Rajiv Gandhi came with a vision that, well, women would never be given this opportunity, will never get a chance ever to take part in decision making at any level, he said, let us have women in the local bodies. And that is why the 73rd and the 74th Amendment to the Constitution, whereby from 91, we had the local body representation where women are there. Now, a question was asked in the Lok Sabha, how many women sarpanches are there today pursuant to this amendment and local body people having women? And there was an answer from the Panchayat Minister that 110,000 women sarpanches have been in this country in the last 3 decades.
No.
Now, somewhere or the other, these women stand out and they take part in decision making, and they draw a line.
The counter to this, and which often comes even to the women's reservation question, and I want to bring in China also into this, is that the moment you reserve, like you have done in local bodies, and the number of women sarpanches you've talked about, they become proxies for their husbands or their brothers or their sons. The power is being wielded elsewhere. That's the counter that comes. That you can, and the sense that you can succeed in politics if you come from a political family or a very influential family.
I would say, even if that happens the first time, Tamanna, let it happen. but at least give a woman a chance, because by the time she gets a position of power, she also exerts her own ability to understand, to be part of administration, etc. I've heard this argument multiple times that, you know, when you come from a political family, that's when you're given an opportunity. Yes, that is absolutely true. But at least give that opportunity for a woman to fight for other women. Give that opportunity to that sarpanch to take a decision on her own in the days to come, or become examples like Gomti Sai. I'd like to cite her example. She comes from Chhattisgarh. She's reached from a jungle to parliament against all odds, and there are few supportive men also who are there out there who support their women to express themselves, to lead by example. So having said that, yes, there will be challenges, but at least give that opportunity. If you don't have the opportunity, we'll only be discussing debate after debate that, you know, when Sonia Gandhi was there and when the Congress was there, they should have passed 33%, the BJP should do it, some other party should do it. I would like to say on record, irrespective of the fact that Ami Bains from Congress, Kanimoy ji is from DMK, Sonal Mansingh ji represents art and culture. I mean, obviously to be nominated in the Rajya Sabha is great, but we should also applaud people like Naveen Patnaik and Mamta Banerjee that actually give women much more of a chance than other political parties that claim to be pro-women. So I think really if we support each other and we speak up for each other, then the sky is the limit.
It also needs to be something that comes from within society. Dr. Kanimuri, you know, your views on this. 33% reservation, something that started decades ago. Is it still a relevant demand in this day and age, or do we need to relook?
It's not a matter of relook. We have to take forward of what has been passed in the Rajya Sabha and still pending in the Lok Sabha. I think that needs to be pushed. But only 10% of people are there as women in parliament. I don't know how far we are all going to do on this. As Shahina said, let us not cutting across the party. Let us see how we can bring women up. Whether we are all in the same ideology or not in the party's line. But as women, we should not be an enemy for our own community, and we should see to that our women community come up in the society to at least talk for us. That should be the game role of all the women. One. Number two, there was also a mention about all this local body women representation and the husbands taking over the power of them.
Right.
As she said, it can be only for the first time. You know about the women's instinct. Once they are there in the field, they really take over. That is the fear the real men has it. It was actually after the local body elections in Tamil Nadu, I could proudly say it. The CM of Tamil Nadu, Mr. M.K. Stalin, made a warning against all the fathers, brothers and husbands and sons of all the women local body councillors that they should not get involved in the administration of the women who are the local body councillors. If it is there, your position would be cancelled and I would do a re-election. This was a statement given openly. I think some kind of a social justice toward the women has to come from all tall leaders of all the states, which would make women more into it. And coming from the political party as a woman is not, it's on the platter or something, Tamanna. It's again a hard work for all of us. Again, we'll have to go through what all the women are going through in the common public. The only plus point what we have from a political background is we know the people who are existing there and we just know the system. That's the only 2 plus points we have. Otherwise, we have to undergo all the local works and all the other harassments what a normal common woman undergoes in the day-to-day activity in a political involvement.
Okay, that was a good clarification. Yes,
the government to really pass this 33%.
Okay, Dr. Mansingh wants to come in. Yes.
Yes, Tamanna.
I just want to put in a quick word. You said, what will women bring? I think women will bring a lot of grace, wisdom, beauty, elegance and style. And I think we need it all because public perception, not only in India, but the world over. Bravo.
Okay, so the public perception, yes, but you know, the audience today is women, it is also men, and I think it's a valid and natural question that, TK, if we Are you saying that women will be better lawmakers? Aren't male politicians also today focusing on women-centric issues? You pick up any manifesto, the woman voter is front and center. There's no doubt about that. So, Shaina, what will be the value add? I think we should ask and answer that question very specifically instead of in generic terms.
So I think firstly, women are more sympathetic and empathetic towards women's issues. You take, for example, pregnancy, you take, for example, what should happen if there are cases of rape, you take, for example, women's safety security, you take, for example, menstrual hygiene. These are all issues which are, kind of suggested to be only addressed by women. I think the time has come for the whole community at large to understand we are 50%. So we need more women taking up challenging issues which affect a woman and which only a woman can understand because she has gone through it. So that is primarily point number one. Second, I think that, in today's day and age, why are women staying away from politics? Also because it's extremely challenging. Yes, it is an advantage if you have a family support or you have somebody from a political lineage that is there to at least give you that stepping stone. But for aspirational India, for a young girl, she'll always think about priorities of a profession which are stable, which give certain kind of livelihood, and politics probably as the last choice. We need to change that. How do we change that? By inspiring each other. There have been challenges for me too. I remember, Tamanna, when I joined politics, people said, "Ye to saadi pehnati hai, isko rajniti ke bare mein kya pata?" And this standard kind of stereotypical notion that if you come from a particular environment or a profession, you're dismissed as a non-entity. So I think for politics to coexist with a professional background is what we should really be championing for, because only then will women of a certain caliber also come in to do hardcore giving back to society. But obviously that is all subject to an opportunity, because otherwise it can lead to tremendous
this brings to mind that everyone faces those challenges, especially when they go into a career like politics. And you shared that people used to say, "Ye saadi pehnati hai, kya politics karegi?" Ami ji, did you face any such discrimination? Of course, you noted lawyer, you came back to India, have had a legal practice. Have you faced even beyond all of that challenges in moving ahead, or just being taken seriously even after being so qualified?
No, Tamanna, I studied in Ahmedabad. I took to the law profession when there were very few, at least 2 or 3 women lawyers who came with their fathers or brothers. So I am an Ahmedabad lawyer, Gujarat High Court. I went to study for a few years. But that study was for my personal growth. But these challenges, yes, they are everyday challenges. You are in a male world. The society is slowly moving. It's going ahead at a snail's pace. But women have to be given an opportunity. And that is why I continuously bring about Rajiv Gandhi's vision of local body politics, because women got a chance, an opportunity to sit as decision makers. That Sarpanch Pati thing has gone long back. Now women are asserting themselves. We have young Sarpanches who are college-going girls and who are contesting elections in the village. So now it is time that we bring the Rajya Sabha past 33% reservation in the Lok Sabha. You give an opportunity to these women. Let them come as politicians. Let them sit as decision makers. It's not that only she decides for women or hygiene or safety.
Absolutely.
Supposing if I have to decide, I would also think about bringing women into the MSME sector, industry sector,
and it's not necessary. That's not necessary that women lawmakers can only think about women's issues. The fact is today our finance minister is a woman. She has also been the defense minister. It's not like women in the public world and the public life have to do only women-centric roles and tasks. I have run out of time, but I want to thank all of you for coming in today, sharing your stories and your insight. And I hope the kind of bipartisan support we've seen across party lines for furthering the participation of women in public life, in politics, reflects somewhere within your own parties and ecosystems as well. With that, I want to thank you all once again for joining us today.